Today we're taking the armature from last time and sculpting some of the body of our figure over top of it. When we're done today, we should have a figure with legs, torso, and arms. Starting with the armature we made last time, I'm making a simple homemade wood and wire clamp to clamp the toe anchors. This just gives me something convenient to hold it by. When approaching a sculpt, it's tempting to go at it as a single lump of clay, poking and scraping at it from different angles until you get your final shape. But I advise breaking a sculpt like this down into smaller tasks. The key to this is to sculpt in layers. Instead of working on one complete sculpt all at once, break it down into layers. Bake each layer when you're done with it and move on to the next. Next, I'm putting on a quick base layer of clay for the legs and body. You can do this by putting smaller pieces on and smoothing it together, or with a clay outline like I'm doing here. The point is to get some more of the underlying structure of the body built up. You still don't need to worry about getting the details just perfect and smooth at this point, because this is supposed to be bulk for under the final surface. Trim it back a bit to keep this layer a little more lean, and then bake it. With a decent underlayer, it makes it easier to lay softer clay over top. And the reason you might want to soften your clay like this is that it makes it easier to spread the clay and smooth it out. I'm doing the hips next, adding the softer clay. You can add it bit by bit like this, or cut out larger outlines. That works too. Just build up the rough shape with a harder sculpting tool at first. Next, I'll be using more jelly with a softer silicone sculpting tool to smooth out the clay I just added. The jelly lubricates and softens the surface of the clay a little more. bake it. And same story with the legs. And this is how we're going to do most of the body. Just one layer, one section at a time. This gives you control over each section of the sculpt that you're working on as you're working on it without needing to worry about deforming other parts. And using oil or jelly to smooth it out helps you to blend the layers together nicely. And then bake it. And then bake it. And after you bake a section, if you want, you can go over it with a knife to remove some bigger sections, or use a file to gently refine the shape a little more. Bit by bit, layer by layer, you keep a lot of control over each small section of your sculpt as you go. And we'll just continue like that for the rest of the sculpt. Next time, I'll focus on making the head and face, because I think that really deserves its own segment.